Hey Gemma.
Oh, hey Lana.
What can we expect from this season of I Think My Fridge is Haunted?
I'm glad you asked, because I'll be covering the Great Plague of London, the worst husband in Australia, and the Salem witch trials.
And I'll be telling stories of the notorious Hellfire Club, glitches in the Matrix, and America's largest kidnapping case.
Join us for I Think My Fridge is Haunted, a very creepy podcast for very creepy people.
Find us on all major podcasting platforms, and now you can even watch our episodes on our YouTube channel.
Until then,
be creepy,
but don't be a creep.
Welcome to Ouch. Was that a ghost? This podcast may contain graphic material, which some listeners may find disturbing. Listener discretion is advised.
Help me.
Now that we covered that, here's your host, Liss.
Welcome back to Ouch, Was That a Ghost with Liss.
And Mike, back for another show. You like that laugh? That's my new laugh I'm going to use every time.
It works. I think it reflects your personality perfectly.
Yes, super creepy and weird.
Wicked. So,
Wicked.
I have a quick question.
Okay.
Is cereal soup?
Let's see.
I'm just trying to annoy you at this point.
Is cereal soup? I mean, with these questions, I love them.
Yeah.
But it's a good question, though, because, I mean, it is just food in a broth. So it's like your food's taking a bath, basically, is what it does. But, no, because soup is not a breakfast food, and cereal is.
That's the only reasoning you have?
There's a lot of reasons, because cereal isn't made with milk. You add the milk to it. You know what I mean? So cereal itself is just in a box. It's not wet. It's not in liquid. You add it to liquid. So, like, you wouldn't call the potatoes in, like, a beef stew. Or, like, you know what I mean? To make a soup, you have to combine a bunch of ingredients into a liquidy base.
So, is oatmeal soup?
No.
That's made with milk.
Anyone who makes their oatmeal watery is gross.
Just put it in the
You
garbage.
have to make that shit thick and add fruit to it. Otherwise, I don't even want to talk to you, honestly. But again, what do you consider soup? Because soup is a combination of ingredients that's done in a liquid base, right? I love pho.
Me too.
I don't know.
I really don't know. I was just trying to annoy you. That was the whole point of the question.
All right. Well, I liked it. I appreciate it.
I'm glad.
Is Jell-O soup?
Is Jell-O soup? No, because it forms with the gelatin. That means like any Jell-O mold, you wouldn't call that soup. Oh, did you see like all those old, like if you look back in the 50s and 60s, the cookbooks they had, they made everything in Jell-O. Like you could put tuna in Jell-O, green beans.
I remember that. It looks so gross. Yeah.
And that was like a delicacy.
I'm sure the gelatin didn't like disflavor it at all. It just made it more, it's a consistency thing, you know, it's not a flavoring.
Some nice slimy tuna.
That's pretty gross. It'd be like going
Hot
into
dogs.
work and finding like your stapler and Jell-O, or like.
I would love that. Meatballs in your drawer.
Yeah, meatballs in your drawer or stuff like that. Just, how many things can you put in Jell-O? I know, I have seen them put some weird gelatin things on. Like they had this weird mashed potato gelatin thing going around that I saw that was actually looked absolutely disgusting, but I don't know.
Do you remember like those old Tupperware parties or Avon parties and they'd make those cucumber sandwiches? I legit miss those.
Oh yeah, those were good. I love that. Yeah, I mean, do people even do like makeup parties or Tupperware parties or anything like that anymore?
I don't think so. I know Pampered Chef was a thing for a while, then it kind of dissolved too.
I know they do like the sex toy parties sometimes and things like that. But
those still happen.
Yeah.
That's just more reason to hang out and act like an animal.
Yes, basically. We'll start a book club. That'll be our thing.
We should.
Yes. We can read The Curse of the Chupacabra to start.
So this week, I'm covering a haunted doll because I feel like this podcast hasn't had one in a while and it kind of needs one.
Yeah, we had obviously we had a Robert, and we
Roberto.
had what's that?
Roberto.
Roberto, and we had the one who grew teeth. That was just
Yes. Okiku.
That was a weird one. And do we have any other dolls?
What's the girl? It was
Annabelle. Did you have Annabelle on or no?
That's who I'm covering today.
Oh, all right.
No,
Very
I was
good.
Peggy. Oh, I'm not supposed to say her name. That's like haunted if you say your name. I don't know if you did that on purpose. If you did, good job. Yeah, but this may be one of the most well-known dolls, Annabelle, who's said to be responsible for attacks, near-death experiences, and at least one death, gaining most of her popularity in different films. She made her debut in 2013 in The Conjuring, and then she got her spin-off in 2014, 2017. She had a movie 2019, and she was also in a movie in 2018, Aquaman, and in Shazam.
What? How is she in these movies?
That's what I was cracking up when I was researching, because James Wan, who directed or produced the Conjuring universe movies, he also, I don't remember if he directed or produced Aquaman and Shazam.
Yeah.
So he just threw him in as like an Easter egg on each
in
one.
the background, just sitting there? Oh,
like
gotcha.
I think in the water, thrown in there, and then it's shown in Shazam, and it's shown in the second Shazam too.
Oh, that's crazy. I would have never known. Not that I watch stuff that closely. I don't really look for the Easter eggs in movies and stuff.
Those
So.
movies sucked. Aquaman and Shazam were horrible. I fell
Yeah,
asleep in
they weren't
Shazam.
the best. Yeah.
I couldn't make it through.
Aquaman was all right. It was like tolerable, but Shazam was probably one of the worst.
Have you seen the second one? The second Aquaman?
I did see it. It was probably worse than the first one, but it was all right still. I mean, they were both like, I could get through them, but I did not, like, I wouldn't go back and watch them again, and I don't look forward to another one, so.
And nobody pooped on beds in the movie?
No pooping on beds.
Oh, good.
She wasn't in the second one, right? No.
I didn't see it. I thought she was like contracted to, but they cut it.
Yeah, no, I think they didn't put her in there. Yeah.
I love that trial. I used to sit there with my coffee watching it in the morning, and I was...
Well, are you watching this other one, this new one, about the girl and the police officers and stuff like that?
I haven't been watching it, no.
Oh, all right. That's been the new big trial that everyone's been talking about and watching.
Ooh, I gotta get in on that.
Gossip?
Gossip?
Yeah, well, I think it either just ended or it's about to end. I think it just ended, though, but I'm not sure.
Oh.
But you should go back and check it out. There's probably going to be a movie on it.
All right. So, unlike the porcelain doll in the movies, the Annabelle movies, the real doll the movie character took its inspiration from was a supposedly haunted Raggedy Ann doll that the Warrens encountered.
Ooh.
Which is creepier, because if the real life Annabelle looks like a doll people grew up with, a Raggedy Ann doll, like I had one growing up.
Yeah.
And I don't know, familiarity kind of makes it creepier. Like if it's something you could look at every day.
No, why, you don't think people had porcelain dolls growing up?
I did.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So what would be the difference between Raggedy Ann or a porcelain doll?
Because the porcelain doll in the movie, it's just, I don't know, the way that they make her eyes and everything. It's not like an average one. Yeah, it's not one I had. So I don't think it's one everyone else had.
No, I know. Yeah, I get what you're saying. I mean, dolls creep me out anyways. The nature of them is creepy in the beginning, because you're just getting an imitation of a human in a tiny form. So creepy.
Yeah.
And then we had Chucky
tiny humans.
Up. We had the Child's Play movies, all that reassured us. Like, obviously, we already talked about it with The Exorcist and the clown doll. Mm-hmm. It's just all the creepy dolls that have haunted us over our childhood years.
I would so get a Raggedy Ann, though. My favorite doll was my Rainbow Bright.
Oh, yeah. I remember the Rainbow Bright dolls.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite doll was my Pillow Pals, or whatever they were. I had the one with, like, the boxer and the black eye.
Yep, I remember that.
Yeah. And I had Bedtime Bear for the Care Bears, so those are my jams. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, and the Pound Puppies, to sleep on them. Remember the little houses
I do remember
they came
the
in?
Pound Puppies, yeah.
Those are great. But If you're not familiar with the Raggedy Ann doll, it has an orange triangle nose, red yarny hair with like stitch feature with a blue dress, smock, and striped leggings and black shoes. But in the movie, they strayed away from Raggedy Ann to avoid trademark issues and to give it more of a creep factor. The slight disfigurement on the porcelain doll they used, it gives it like an uncanny look, like an old worn doll gives off. I'm sure Raggedy Ann probably didn't want their doll killing everyone on screen. It can't be too good for sales, you know?
I imagine it wouldn't be.
But the Warrens, who, if you don't know who they are, we covered them on a previous episode, but they're a husband and wife team consisting of Ed and Lorraine Warren. Ed was a self-professed and self-taught demonologist, and Lorraine was a self-professed clairvoyant and light trance medium. Together, they would investigate paranormal happenings, and they founded the New England Society for Psychic Research, which was the oldest.
And they always found something every time.
Oh, they're amazing. Yeah.
They're the best at it.
Yeah, they're so good. They had over 10,000 cases, according to them. And they took these and they wrote books about their experiences, which most people have heard, I'm sure, of at least a few of their films adapted from their real life experiences, quote unquote, whether from Amityville or the Conjuring universe.
Yeah.
So according to the Warren, the story goes that a nurse named Donna, I've also seen Deirdre, but I'm just going to call her Donna for today. But Donna received a Raggedy Ann doll in 1970 as a 28th birthday gift from her mother.
For 28-year-old, a Raggedy Ann doll?
That's my next sentence. Which 28 years old, a Raggedy Ann doll? Question mark. I don't know. Weird gift to me, but what do I know?
To each their own, I guess.
Yeah, but apparently Donna loved the present, and she brought it home to the apartment that she shared with her roommate Angie, another nurse. Donna put the doll on her bed and just went about her life like it was a throw pillow you throw down and just kind of forget about it. Within a few weeks, the roommate started to notice something was off with the doll. It would start to appear in different places than where they left it. Like if they left it on a couch, it might be found on the chair. And they might have thought like, hey, you know, I was busy. I'm a nurse. Maybe my roommate moved it or I did it and I forgot.
Yeah.
But then it started appearing in different rooms where it was left. Like if it was left in the living room, it would appear in one of their bedrooms. And Donna claimed to be sitting on the couch before work with the doll, only to come back from work and find the doll in her bedroom with the door shut. And the doll would move positions as well. It would cross its legs, cross its arms. One night when the girls came back from work, it was even found standing. And they would they later tried
creepy at all.
Not at all.
Yeah.
And they tried to recreate it, tried to make the doll stand up again. But if you know a Raggedy Ann doll, they're just kind of like floppy. Like it just flopped down. After dealing, what?
Oh, I was going to say, so it doesn't have like self-standing legs and walking around and stuff on a normal basis?
But just occasionally when they're coming home from work, just to greet them.
No, if I remember the Raggedy Ann dolls, they had like the stitches on the knees and elbows. Like it was all stitched up, right? It was
it's just a floppy, it's like a pillow, but just like with sewn creases, I guess.
Yeah.
After dealing with the movements for weeks, little notes started appearing around the house on parchment paper that said, "Help me," in childlike handwriting, or "Help Lou." And Lou was either Angie's friend or boyfriend. I've seen different in different articles. Maybe it was a booty call. Who knows? But the women claim that they didn't even have parchment paper in the house.
Interesting.
Donna returned home from work one night to find the doll on her bed, and she hadn't left the doll there. She had this like really bad feeling, and she picked the doll up and found red spots of what looked like blood on the back of the doll's hands and on its chest. That's when the roommates decided they needed help, not when it was standing up when they got home from work.
Yeah, that's not enough. Yeah.
But not knowing what to do, Donna and Angie decided to call a medium in. I'm imagining them just pulling out the yellow phone book, being like, all right, medium. So the psychic medium came in, held a seance, and informed Donna and Angie that the doll was not just a doll. It also held the spirit of a 7-year-old girl named Annabelle Higgins. And through communication with the spirit in the seance, the medium conveyed the story of Annabelle, who she said that she lived on the same lot where their apartment building now stood before dying when she was 7, and her body was later discovered on the very property where the apartment building stood.
Oh, fun. Yeah.
And Annabelle conveyed that she felt safe with Donna and Angie and she wanted to be here with them. The medium told the women that Annabelle was benevolent and she just wanted to be taken care of and loved. And the girls, Donna and Angie, felt bad for the little girl. So they were like, yeah, sure, it's a little girl stuck in there. You can stay in the doll. Like, you're part of our family now.
So did they like investigate the blood on it or anything, or no?
No.
Or they just let that go?
No, don't worry about it.
All right, let's ignore that. Let's not worry about what happened to Lou. Yeah.
Even after the roommates accepted the little girl, Annabelle's spirit, into their home and allowed it to reside within the doll, strange things kept happening around the house. Lou, he's still around, Mike.
Oh, all right.
Lou immediately hated the doll as soon as Donna brought it home. He was like, get rid of it. That thing's evil. But, she liked the doll, so she's like, I'm keeping it. So one night, Lou was having a nightmare, which he'd had multiple times since the doll had been in the house. And he just woke up, but he was like paralyzed. And he had this bad feeling. So now he's paralyzed and a bad feeling. That sucks.
Okay.
That's like my worst nightmare. He looked around the room.
So it's like night terrors basically he's having. Yeah.
Yeah. And he looked around the room and then he looked down towards the bottom of the bed and he saw, I don't know why this is funny to me. It's supposed to be scary. He saw Annabelle the doll who made her way up Lou's leg and onto his chest. Then Annabelle took her hands and started strangling him.
Little Raggedy Ann hands.
And Lou blacked out. He woke up the next morning and he swore it was not a dream. Another time, Lou and Angie were at the apartment and Donna was out. And then they started hearing these sounds coming from Donna's room. They thought maybe someone broke in. So Lou kind of quietly crept over to Donna's room, opened the door, only to find an empty room except for Annabelle lying on the floor. Nothing seemed ransacked or strange in the room except for the doll that creeped Lou out. So he approached Annabelle and he felt something behind him and he turned around and he felt a pain on his chest. And when he looked down, he found bleeding claw marks across his chest, which he claimed fully healed within 2 days.
All right. So I'm confused because isn't this a 7-year-old girl who's haunting the doll?
Yep.
So what does the doll get powers of like beasts and strong men now? Or what's going on? And paralyzes people? I mean,
Well, that's what the doll told the psychic, that she was a 7-year-old girl.
oh, all right. So it could be a demon. I gotcha.
But they started to question if this was in fact a little girl, just like Mike did.
Oh,
And they said, hey, maybe this isn't a normal Raggedy Ann doll possessed by a 7-year-old girl.
at least claw marks on Lou's chest.
Maybe a red flag.
Who started questioning this? So,
Donna and Angie,
oh, all right.
they decided they needed help. So they reached out to a Episcopal priest named Father Hegan, who alerted his superior, Father Cook, who alerted the paranormal investigation duo, Q, Ed and Lorraine Warren.
Oh, yes. Enter the scene.
And they contacted Donna, Angie, and Lou to follow up and get more information about what had been going on. The Warrens didn't believe that this was a sweet little girl in the doll. They thought it was something more sinister, claiming, quote, spirits do not possess inanimate objects like houses or toys. They possess people. An inhuman spirit can attach itself to a place or an object, and this is what occurred in Annabelle's case. The spirit manipulated and created the illusion of it being alive in order to get recognition. Truly, the spirit was not looking to stay attached to the doll. It was looking to possess a human host.
All right. I like it. I picture like Lorraine and Ed when they come to like inspect things. Do they like slide down the pole and like get in the car and drive like the Ghostbusters to go handle these crimes? Because that would be awesome.
They should. Well, the Warrens claim that demonic presence is in its infestation phase, moving around to get attention. By bringing the medium in, it now was able to communicate. And it used the cover of a child to gain sympathy and gaining permission, which gave it power, allowing it to materialize things like the notes and the blood drops. I don't know how that's materializing blood drops, but okay. And leaving Lou with the mark of the beast.
Well, obviously she's out walking around and stuff. If she's bringing parchment paper home and writing on stuff, she's just out gallivanting the neighborhoods. Who the hell knows what she's doing? Yeah, she's night walker.
Friggin'
Just
town pup.
working the streets, doing her thing, getting in the back alleys. You could see her just running that shit. She probably
How do you think she affords the parchment paper? It's not
Right?
free.
She probably has like friggin' gangs working for her on the side hustle. She's like the mob boss of the area.
Madam. Oh, she's a mob boss.
Oh,
Sorry.
madam, yeah, right. She's in a brothel now, just running that shit. I like it.
With its next stage being complete human possession. And if it was left untreated for 2 or 3 more weeks, the Warrens claim that demonic entity would have possessed a human host or more than one of them. The Warrens concluded from their investigation that a cleansing was needed. So the Warrens got Father Cook to come and perform an exorcism on the apartment and agreed to take the Raggedy Ann doll named Annabelle with them at Donna's request.
So now the Warrens own Annabelle.
Yes.
Okay.
So the apartment was exorcised and the Warrens brought Annabelle out. Ed buckled her in the back seat. They decided to take back roads to be safe. During the ride to their house, the car would swerve randomly or stall out, or the brakes would fail. They almost crashed multiple times. But when this would happen, Ed would take out his bag of holy water and just start dousing the doll.
That makes sense.
And the brakes or any other car issues would go back to working properly. So when the Warrens got home to Monroe, Connecticut with Annabelle,
they had to put her in the dryer because she was soaking wet.
He was like, bitch, I had a whole organization going around there. I was making good money, and you pulled me out of there. So the Raggedy Ann doll was placed in Ed's study on a chair next to his desk. There, Ed claimed on multiple occasions it would just randomly start levitating.
The doll would start levitating or the desk?
No, the doll, Annabelle.
Oh, all right.
She couldn't work, so now she has to do this.
Well, that offers her a whole new line of work. She could be a magician and stuff now.
She could.
It'd be amazing.
I
have a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm jumping the gun probably, but is Annabelle still around?
She is.
I bet you could probably make a ton of money renting her out to people to bring home, because people are sick like that. They would be around those haunted spirits and stuff.
Well, they do conventions and they bring her around. She was actually at Mohegan a few years ago.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to meet Annabelle.
Why?
I'm torn. I'm torn on those things, to whether you want to delve into it or not.
Well, I wouldn't mock it in its face.
Oh, I
even
would.
if it's not real.
That's a problem. I'm scared about myself being in front of it. I'd probably be the biggest asshole in the world. Yeah. But then wouldn't you think an evil spirit would appreciate that? Be like, yeah, this motherfucker's with, I'm down with this dude. I don't know.
That's a chance you're taking.
Yeah.
You can take it, but I'm not driving home with you.
I'll have a bag of holy water with me. We'll be fine.
Then you're going to have to dry her off when you get home again. The Warrens claim that the doll would move around the house. She would be placed in one room and be found in another, even if they placed her in a room with a locked door. Then they tried locking Annabelle in an office, which was like a building on the outside of their house that was locked up. But then they'd open the main house door and there would be Annabelle sitting on the recliner.
Jesus.
So they tried to make a permanent home for her so she couldn't escape. They had a wooden case made for Annabelle. It said it has specially made glass. I have no idea what kind of glass is specially made.
Yeah, witch doctors hex it so she couldn't get out or something?
Possibly.
That would be awesome.
On the wooden part of the case, they had the Lord's Prayer inscribed and St. Michael's Prayer. After they placed Annabelle in her custom-made case to contain her, Ed would continue to say binding prayers as an extra precaution up until his death in 2006. Physically, the Warrens claim that she was trapped, but that hasn't stopped her from using her supernatural forces to enact revenge on anyone that disrespects her. Also, in front of her case, they have a handwritten sign that says, "Positively do not open."
Okay.
One day, a Catholic priest, Father Jason Bradford, went by the Warrens Occult Museum, and he held Annabelle and didn't really believe that the doll possessed any powers or ability. He said, quote, "You're just a rag doll, Annabelle. You can't hurt anyone," and tossed the doll back in the chair, at which point Ed exclaimed, "That's one thing you better not say." Even with Ed's warning of the dangers, he sort of laughed it off. So the priest finished his visit and he left. On his way home, the priest claims to have seen Annabelle in the rearview mirror right before totaling his brand new car.
Oh, awesome.
The priest did survive, but just barely.
She haunted him. I'll get you.
Another account after the priest incident was another person went to visit the occult museum and was tapping the glass of her case and just saying how gullible people were to believe in Annabelle, insisting that if a doll can put scratches on people, then he wanted to be scratched.
All right.
Ed said to the young man, quote, "Son, you need to leave." Ed is very stern.
Yeah.
And he put him outside of the building. So this man and his girlfriend got on his motorcycle and started to drive home, and the girlfriend said that they were talking about the visit and joking and laughing about the doll when the man lost control of his motorcycle and hit a tree head on, and he was killed instantly. And his girlfriend barely survived and had to spend a year in the hospital recovering.
Oh, shit.
Mm-hmm.
Ed's right. They better leave.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe if they stayed, they would have been better off. So maybe Ed killed them.
So stupid.
You think to prove that he's right about Annabelle, he goes out and like creates these accidents on these people, like cuts their brake lines or something?
Only you would think of that.
Maybe he's more devious than we give him credit for.
Imagine, though, if he was that genius. Deviously genius.
Yeah, it's just you keep the lie going. You have to have some victims somewhere along the line.
I like it. Other visitors that have visited Annabelle have claimed bad energy when in the doll's presence, while some who taunt the doll have reported having accidents.
What kind of accidents we talking about? Like number 1 and number 2?
Number 3.
Oh, number 3. You don't want to do a number 3.
No, you don't. So, yeah, the doll sits in the case.
Yeah.
Wait, what is going on?
Well, she doesn't just sit in the case. She apparently gets out and roams around. I mean, something's causing these accidents and shit, unless she's just using her psychic powers to destroy her.
Mm-hmm. But the story of Annabelle has been told over and over by the Warrens and has been published in many books. The Warrens are extremely well known for their paranormal investigations, but also being very controversial. A lot of their stories were made into profitable ventures when they themselves are the sole source of information.
Yeah, of course.
And they're known for not having the best relationship with the truth.
You think? The truth is their enemy.
The Amityville horror case and the work that inspired The Conjuring has pretty much entirely been debunked, according to some researchers. An investigation by the New England Skeptical Society proved that the artifacts in the Warrens Occult Museum were mostly fraudulent, citing doctored photos, exaggerated storytelling.
And apparently murdering people after they leave this house.
I'm not saying it's impossible. Maybe it all did happen, but I don't know. I like to look at both sides. But Annabelle,
I believe that some things happen. I mean, there's no way that all these people called them for no reasons, you know, whether there was some sort of spiritual activity or something going on. But for them to be batting 1,000 every time they go somewhere, it has to have happened. That's just insane.
well, they're really lucky.
Yeah, that's the other option.
But Annabelle's story started in 1970, which was the same year which Robert the Doll story was covered.
Okay.
Which dolls are always creepy, by the way. I'll give you that. And this was also 7 years after a Twilight Zone episode aired titled Living Doll. I don't know if you ever saw that one. It has the Talking Tina or Talkie Tina doll.
No, I didn't, but
It's when a doll was given to the daughter that killed, or I forget if she killed or tried to kill the stepfather after the stepfather mocked the doll. And the girl's mother in the episode, do you want to know what her name was?
no.
No? Okay.
No, okay, I do want to know.
Oh, you do?
Yes.
It was Annabelle.
Oh, it was Annabelle. Who would have thought it?
Either way, the accounts or stories of Annabelle were looked at by director and producer James Wan, who in 2014 wrote Annabelle's story about a violent doll, and this story became part of the horror franchise of the Conjuring universe. And of course, cinematic liberties were taken. The plush Raggedy Ann doll swapped out for an antique porcelain doll with piercing eyes that follow you, with 2 youthful braids surrounding the childlike face with a constant smirk and rosy cheeks. And of course, the attacks were amped up because a few attacks wouldn't get you 3 movies, you know?
Yeah.
So the Warrens have both passed away. Their daughter, Judy, and her husband, Tony Spera, have taken over caring for the occult collection and artifacts.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if you know about any of the other artifacts. There's like a haunted dinosaur. There's all kinds of stuff, like demonic, cursed.
I don't know much about it, honestly. Yeah, only from tidbits I've heard that you talking about, but that's about it. So
Yeah, but she remains locked up in the case, and occasionally she's brought out for conventions or events.
Yeah.
But that's it. That's the story of Annabelle.
Annabelle's crazy.
So you think that she was a madam, or she was a haunted doll, or do you think she was a 7-year-old girl?
I think she was a straight G, just out there doing her stuff until the Warrens came along and brought our business down. They brought it to the ground. It's friggin' they want to monopolize that whole world. And she's like, "What about my piece?" And then Ed's like, "Don't worry, I got you." And then he bring her to the conventions just to make her feel better for a day.
So kind of Ed.
Yeah, but he's ultimately just manipulating her now too. So, like, because Ed collects all these haunted things and all these demonic, like, dolls and items and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of makes him the devil because he's kind of the master of all the demons, right?
I guess. Well, he was a self-proclaimed demonologist.
Yeah, well, I take the ologist out of it, and that's what he is.
Okay.
he just goes around and like exploits all these demons for money instead of just letting them be.
People feel either really strongly for or against the Warrens. Like you either fully believe or don't.
I would feel strongly for them if they were just like humble and be like, you know, we're just doing our work and that's what it is. But the fact that they monetize every single chance they get to do that and they accentuate every circumstance to make that money more, it just doesn't sell well for me because there probably are a lot of victims within their like wake of what they left behind, you know, that were either, whether it be mental health issues or some sort of torture that happened or some evil thing that happened to these people and they're just making money off of them.
But even if they wanted to lecture, I would understand that. But if you're collecting all these evil, cursed, you know, artifacts and then you're allowing people into your occult museum.
Yeah.
Like if you're trying to keep them away from people, why are you allowing people in? I get like priests and stuff to bless them. Yeah, that's fine. But charging people to come in and see them doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, and if things were that dangerously haunted, people shouldn't be allowed to be around them, really, is what it is. But
even with the sign positively do not open. I don't know why that sign cracks me up.
It's almost like an oxymoron kind of in a way.
Yeah, that's it. It's not that long of a story. I thought it was more to it, but that was it. I thought she'd have like a string of attacks, but that was like it. Like she floated around, she ran some prostitutes, she stole some parchment paper.
I would have thought more like victims and more things would have happened because of the popularity of Annabelle. But
do you know I didn't even finish one of those movies? I tried to watch it. It was boring to me.
Yeah, no, I get it. I watched one of them. Maybe it was the Amityville. I don't even know which one it was, but it was the ones when the Warrens were involved in some, and Annabelle wasn't the main character. It wasn't the Annabelle movie. It was the other one that she was in. Just on the side.
Conjuring?
Maybe it was The Conjuring, yeah. Is that what it is? When she was sitting on like the rocking chair being held by the creepy old lady or something, yeah.
Oh, are you thinking of, was she in that one?
Or was it the Tooth Fairy or whatever the hell? I don't know. It was one weird one, but
that wasn't Insidious, was it?
No, Insidious was the one when he slept and like dreamt the demons, right?
I like that one. That was a good one.
That was all right, yeah. They just came out with a new one of that. I haven't seen it yet, but the kids all like those. They have like 3 or 4 of them now, I thought, but I don't know. Yeah, I'm not a big horror movie guy anyways. You know me. I'm pretty, you get me more, you teach me more about the horror aspect of things than I hear from anywhere else, so.
But this one definitely scared you, right?
I'm shaking in my boots because I know that she left a void in the underground world in the back alleys, and it needs to be filled by some other demonic doll.
That's true.
I'm just hoping that the Pound Puppies take over.
That would be awesome. A demon Pound Puppy movie. All right. Well, thank you so much for coming on again,
Thank you for
Michael.
listening.
All right. Thank you for having me.
If you need more content or just want to help support the podcast, head on over to patreon.com and search Ouch, Was That a Ghost? If you need some schnazzy merch, you can find it at crowdmade.com by searching Ouch, Was That a Ghost? If you have a story you'd like to share, you can email it to ouchwasthataghost@yahoo.com. You can also find us on Facebook and all the other social media platforms under Ouch, Was That a Ghost?
Help
All links can also be found on ouchwasthataghost.com.